And we are live. Oh,
Ah,
goodness. So I personally, we just right before we went live. We were chatting. We were getting caught
yes.
up in all of the happenings in our lives. And I know some of you out there thinking that we spend a lot of time together, but we really don't. But when we do have a lot of things to say.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to say. It's all the little things, and it's actually pretty wonderful. It's actually pretty wonderful. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, I was I was talking to one of my siblings just a little bit before we hopped on here,
Mm.
calling to check on her. And I said, listen, I'm getting ready to go to a live, and there's going to be a person there from Singapore, and there's going to be somebody from New York, and there's going to be somebody there from the UK, and somebody from India. So come on over.
In Atlanta.
Atlanta
Yeah.
as well. Well, I was thinking
Yes.
that I should say East Coast. East Coast.
East
So that
Coast.
way we
There we
cover
go.
all of the East Coaster folks.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew that we would have all these people? And if they don't show, then you're in trouble.
She's not on Facebook, so we're good.
Oh, good. Excellent.
We won't be
Excellent.
clicking on
Excellent.
them. But we are
Okay.
delighted to be back here with you, and we are getting really, really close. We're going to be with you
Mm.
for just a few more weeks, and we definitely are here to support you, guide you. We want to help you set the foundation so that you can get your 2021 started. Right? November and December are the months that you're going to plant seeds because you want to be able to watch them blossom come the beginning of the year. So that was a whole intention and a whole purpose for doing this. And we welcome your questions. We welcome your comments. We are here to support you. Is there an area you want us to cover? We are here for you. Tell us, share with us. Oh, yes, Melinda, I am so delighted you're here. I believe next week is going to be your week because I'll have, well, we'll save that. We'll make that a team.
That means you have to show up next week, Melinda. Hi, Melinda. Great to see you. Oh, New York is here. You were so right, Chella. Very good. Very good.
And today our topic is we're so excited again, right? We're here, and Melinda, we appreciate because it's late. Well, it's 9:30. That's late in my world.
Just because you get up early. And speaking of, let's talk. This is like our topic, right? Sort of. Sort of.
Absolutely, it totally is. Totally is.
Mm.
So if you ever want to get a hold of me and it's after 9 p.m. Pacific, no luck.
Don't even try, people. Don't even try. Yeah, just let it go. Let it go. Oh, it is late. It is late.
It is
Melinda,
late.
I know.
It is late, but we appreciate you being here with us because we appreciate, and I know that you're definitely We're here. We're here for you. We're here to answer your questions and how we may be able to share that something that's going to help you move your needle over for your business. But I'm excited. Terilee, tell us our topic for today.
So some of you are going to feel picked upon. It's possible, and it's not meant to do that. But in our online networking life, and since this whole what do we want to call it? Our life shifted, and like all the live events, the face-to-face events we would be doing in our local cities, and like driving and spending the weekend, now all of our options are online. And Chella, don't you agree that sometimes it can be overwhelming about the options that we have, and what do we choose, and how do we participate? And the thing is, I think for a lot of us, we want to be at everything. And so today we're going to talk about balance. So we know we want to reach those goals. We set those goals. But how do we really have to show up? What type of schedules are we creating? I believe we create our life, so we have the ability to say, no, I'm going to work these hours and stick to it and set boundaries. So today we're going to talk a little bit about balance, choice, what's negotiable and not non-negotiable. And then I think this is just personally for us, it's what's optimum for you, right? What's optimum for you, and that there is no right or wrong. Some of you don't need a lot of sleep, right? Some of you could operate on just a few hours. And if that's the case and you want to show up at everything, then hey, right? We won't judge you. But some of us love our sleep. Chella, yeah, Chella's by 9 o'clock Pacific. She's gone, right?
Done.
And so the question is, let's talk about balance, because balance is something that can be worked on. So let me start off, and I don't know whether this is a tip or the truth or it's all of it. But this weekend, and have you all not? If you're speakers, have you not found in your life that historically, for me, in the last 10 years, as someone who does a lot of speaking, it always has seemed to me, especially face-to-face events, like October was a very heavy month for events. And so October, and Chella, you found that, Chella, to be the case? There's a lot of events in the fall. And so I would tend to be booked like every weekend in October. It's just the way that it has been. And the thing about our online events is it's not just October. It's kind of like they're available all the time. But this particular last weekend, I had the opportunity to speak at a summit, and it was going to be, my session began like at 11:30 p.m. my time and ended at about 3 o'clock in the morning my time. I followed that up with, so that's Sunday. I followed that up with getting up super early on Monday morning, like 3:30 in the morning, to hop on a panel. Okay. And I learned something. So what I want to invite you to examine is, and maybe you haven't tried it lately and you haven't examined it yet, but I knew some of this, but it just became so real for me. And it's, how am I when I'm choosing to make those decisions? How do I feel? How do I show up? And someone just was on the event with me. And what I said was, like, the meeting in the middle of the night for me, I felt like, I don't know if this is an overthink, Chella, but I felt like I was almost like screaming inside. But like, I just didn't feel myself. I felt like it was all I could do to sit there and look awake, be listening, listen for the questions on the panel, try to give something creative. And I felt like I couldn't like be me, Terilee, where everyone would be like, oh, I want to get to know her. I felt like most people would be like, well, she's not that interesting. I don't want to get to know her. I felt like I was struggling. It's like my body knows I'm not supposed to be up that time of night. And so it was a struggle. So the flip for me then was the early morning event. So like my body could, it's a few hours earlier than I normally wake up, but my body, I felt more like me, and I just felt more natural and like it was okay. My question to you is, have you found any of these to be true for you? And in that case, can you be true to yourself? Can you be true to yourself on what events you're going to accept? I don't want to say it's that I'll never accept an event in the middle of the night, but it's going to have to be pretty dang special, I think, for me to make that commitment. So I'm going to throw that out there and lob it to Chella and say, what do you think about this, Chella?
And also, but we want to invite our I was going to say our guest. I was thinking of throwing a dinner party, so I was going to call you my guest. No, but I invite you to think about, there's our baby.
There he is. There he is.
We've been waiting for you. We've been talking about you. Good morning. Thank you. And what's interesting is that we have to know what that is for us, right? Especially when you're going to do one back to back, right?
Yes.
You did one like once a month kind of deal, and then you allowed yourself the day before and the day after. But then when you're doing that, is it worth it? Is it worth for you to disrupt the day before and the day after? Right? And there's going to be times, we're not judging, there's going to be times that's what's going to be the case. So the first 2 weeks of this month, I know, and I'm cutting back. I keep saying, this is it. This is the last month that I'm not going to do so many. But I was invited to be a guest, to do a presentation at a brand new networking, brand new to me. It was interesting, but now what I learned, I'm open to sharing, but what I learned was that was not my crowd. Mm-hmm. That is not, it was great people, but it was mostly men. I work mostly with women. So I did not know, the person that invited me is a woman, so I didn't know. But so maybe doing a little bit more research, right? And mm-hmm. That's an event that I will not go back to. So this month, I have found 5 events that I will not go back to. Not my tribe, right?
That's good.
But really learning to see which ones are the ones that you can begin to build those relationships with. And that's perfect example for me. I don't work with men. So if it's going to be majority men, I'm not going to go back. Not my tribe. Great people, not my tribe. So that's part of, are you are you really spreading yourself too thin? And I got to say that I did. I totally did, and I got to pay for it, because on the weekend I was just totally gone.
Yes.
Sometimes we do need to go, right? We need to find out if that's our tribe. But once you decide, then you have to be honest with yourself and maybe choose that will be not a place for you to go back to. And that's what I did.
I love that.
But it's a balance with everything, right? Because when you're so tired, when you're gone 2 days, it disrupts everything else.
It does.
Right? It disrupts sleep. It just throws everything. And I don't care what age you are. It just you know what I mean? It just throws everything. And so it's about, then you don't have as much energy to show up.
No, it's so true. And then I think it's also you rest before when it's disruptive, you rest after. And then even I was just saying, so most of you know that I'm preparing my son to go off to college January 1st. And so we have like our checklist and we have an errand we need to run. And I was like, hey, do you want to do that today? And we're looking at my schedule and I go, well, I need to decide if I need another nap because I'm still on catch up. I said, so let me get back to you. And if not, maybe we can do it tomorrow. But we have to decide, is it worth it? I will lovingly, Venky's here, and I will lovingly say that a few weeks ago, I was at the India meeting and I was sharing with them that, hey, we have our global online networking, but oh gosh, it's at 4:30 in the morning for you guys. And so I realized that's early, come to the next one. And he goes, oh no, we'll be there. And sure enough, they were there, right? And I think it's got to go back to the balance. Can you do it? Can you still feel good and do it? Right? Can you still feel good and do it? And I think it's okay that we need to give ourselves permission. We don't have to be everywhere all the time.
Yeah, and I did go to one of my mentors and he had a meeting, he's in the UK. So his meeting was at 2 a.m. my time. And I did go. I did go. But I got to tell you, halfway through it, and so it lasted about 2.5 hours. So it was 4:30 in the morning, and my whole day was thrown. It's just like, it just doesn't work. So this is all, it may sound like this does not apply to business, but it does apply to business because we need to decide where. We need to find the balance. We all need to go out there and we all need to find and share our business, but we need to decide what is the best and find what's the ultimate time for you, right?
Yes.
I know I'm a part of a coaching program and one of the coaches there, she's a night owl. So you will never, and she says, I will never show up to a 9 o'clock meeting. The earliest meeting she takes, it's 11 o'clock.
Wow.
She's in Chicago. You will never, ever, ever find her anywhere before 11 a.m. Now, if you have to at 10 o'clock, she'll be there, but right, never before. So some people are able to do that with their hours, right? And it's okay for you to do that. And it's okay to show up from time to time. But, when you do that, know that it may throw your schedule and then you may not be showing up of the best version of yourself, which is ultimately what we want you to do. And it's choices, sometimes, we do need to go and we need to find our tribe. But when we do, how many, and we didn't even plan this, but how many networking events do you think somebody should participate on a regular basis to help them grow their business, right? It's just how many things do you need to continue to show up that's going to be fit within your schedule and it's going to, right? And it's your tribe. So I'm going to vote for 5.
5 like groups to be part of?
Correct. Correct. That you're building relationships.
Yep.
And that you are connecting with the people in the group so that you're able to know, what's up. I would say anywhere from 3 to 5.
I think that 3 to 5 is great. I think that you will know. And which ones resonate with you. They're your tribe. They're benefiting you. What we want to avoid, I think, Chella, is like sporadically hopping around at like 8 to 10 and never really building relationships. That's like spinning our wheels. And we want to avoid spinning our wheels. The relationships are really where it's at. Isn't it true?
Absolutely. And you maybe
Mm.
go to a group, and I did one of the 5 groups I'm not going to participate in anymore. I did meet one person. Actually, I met 2 people. And we're continuing the conversations, right? So
Yes.
sometimes it just takes that one person, but I know it's like, yeah, no, this is not my tribe. I cannot come back here. So finding where your tribe is hanging out and building those relationships so that you can help each other grow. And
So
only
good.
do that midnight, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I say no more than once a month. I mean, that's tough.
Yes. Okay. I like that. I could probably do once a month, and and that's about it. So I think also be open to asking. People recently said to me, "Could you be on a podcast?" And they even inquired about my time zone, and we did something that was at like 10 a.m. my time, 7 a.m. Pacific. It was beautiful, and there are some people that are like tied into like a studio on a podcast. They can't make it happen, and just ask. I will always ask people, what is there anything that we could do to adjust this? What could I do to adjust? Could I schedule something off calendar for me? People are open. Or at Chella, sometimes it's so cute because I'll get in requests that people want to be on a live stream with me, and it'll be like 1 a.m. for them, and I'll be like, I see the request come in. I'm like, are you a night owl? And sometimes they are, but sometimes they've just made the mistake, and it's like there's other options. So explore with people, what are your options. I think that sometimes when people can, they will totally accommodate.
And always ask, right? It totally
Yes, it can't hurt, right?
If you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
And then I'm going to throw this one out, and I think this is important too, and that's, I know that Chella has the freedom to do whatever she wants with her schedule because doesn't have other people in her home that it affects, right? But let's face it, everybody, our schedule affects our peeps, whether that's if you have a spouse or partner, if you have children at home. My son will come out and like, it'll be clear I have something going on because do you have a meeting tonight or whatever? And boundaries, right? Communication. I call it, I'm working tonight. And then I'll get, well, what time? I'll be like, you don't want to know. Or even I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning. Would you like me to rest somewhere else so that my alarm doesn't wake you up? Like that communication and that caring and finding what's best for people, because it's not that they elected to have the crazy schedule. Terilee did, right? So all that communication, I think, can be super important. We want our spouse and partners and our family's support, and so some of that's going to come with that open communication as well. I think that's super important.
Absolutely, right. And also, it's like you said, it's not just you; it's other people. Other people's schedules too.
Yes,
right. It's
absolutely
having that coffee at 3 o'clock in the morning. No, or running the blender at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, no blenders at 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. That's not a wise move.
This is so perfect. So it is my turn to do a truth.
Let's do it.
About sometimes, and this happened last week, so it's really fresh. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last, but it did happen. So sometimes I go in the kitchen and I'll get something started, and my intention is, I don't like the timer in the kitchen, so my intention is to come back to my office and to get on my handy dandy little timer. But I got to tell you, last week I did that, and I was steaming asparagus, and I got to my office, and then I'm sitting here, and I lost. I didn't set the timer right.
No.
Okay, here it is. I have to show again my timer. So between the kitchen and here, I lost my track, and then I was like sitting here 10 minutes, and I'm like, I wonder what the neighbors are cooking. I'm just like,
oh no, the neighbors.
I know.
Did you say it smells like asparagus?
I was growing up. Anyways, I finally managed. I needed to go get some water, and I went in. So definitely the asparagus was burnt. The pot was ruined. The whole thing, right? I put on the whole thing. But I do from time to time. I've done that with not only vegetables, but with cookies and with everything. But it's a short trip, right? It's just like walking, and I just get sidetracked sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes I just get sidetracked. So, but that goes to, there's so many things, and I'm just like, so now I was like, okay, you know what? I take the timer with me to the kitchen, and I just hang out in the kitchen if it's going to be under 10 minutes, so that I don't do that. But that is my truth for today, is sometimes I just lose track of time, and I have burnt and ruined quite a few pots in my lifetime.
Well, we're sorry to hear about the loss of your pots, but no, that's a very good one, because we can't, like you can totally come in, all of a sudden there's an email or a message, and it's gone, man. Your asparagus on the stove is gone. Yep.
That's my mind thinking, what are the neighbors cooking? I never tell it, but anyways, it was just really interesting that's where my mind is. We absolutely positively welcome your feedback. We welcome your questions, because we are going to be here to help you and support you anywhere that we can. We're enjoying this. We are loving this, and we love that you're listening. If you're watching the replay, #replay, let us know if you have any questions and what we can do to help you move the needle on your business, in your business, to help you have the best 2021.
That is right. So we want to invite you, share, hey, this is what's optimal for my schedule. This is how I find balance. This is how I communicate with my family, what's happening. We'd love to hear from you, your tips and strategies, and how you cope with all the opportunities that are presented to us, because it is definitely, we're making choices for sure. So Chella, it's always great to see you.
My pleasure. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful.
See you next week, everyone. Take care. Till next time.